Hello guys, welcome to this Python tutorials, and in this tutorial we're actually going to be working on the introduction to Python. So make sure you stick to the rest of the video series coming from this Python tutorials, and it's really gonna be fun learning how to code with Python with our comprehensive video coming up after this. Right, today we're actually going to be looking at introduction to Python programming, its use case, and then a paraphrase on the installation processes. So what is this Python programming all about? Python programming is actually a general purpose, high level, interpreted and object oriented programming language with an English-like syntax, and it is also dynamically typed. Now in summary, it's a general programming language in the sense that you can use Python for almost anything, right? You can develop website, mobile applications, and desktop applications. You can develop AI-based applications. You can design machine learning algorithms and so much more, right? And it's also a high-level programming language as opposed to machine code and assemblies language where you got to use a lot of zeros and ones and some kind of scary alphabet and characters to get coding done. It's actually a high level language, and it's more of an English-like, alright? It has an English-like syntax, okay? It's very easy to learn and very easy to get going. It is also an interpreted language, okay? It's not compiled like Java, Pascal, and the rest of them, alright? So we use Python for data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Alright, Python has got very good strength in fields like that, as well as automations and hacking. Alright, we also use Python to develop websites and desktop applications, mobile applications, as well as web app. Alright, but Python is really left behind, to be sincere, when it comes to desktop applications and mobile application, as compared to world-class leading programming language when it comes to desktop and mobile applications like Java, C#, and the rest of them, okay? And that is actually normal with any programming language. You should have its strength and weakness, okay? But nevertheless, you can do almost anything you want to do with Python in an easy and intuitive way. So let's quickly move to the installation. But before that, if you really want to be good at Python, maybe you should think of finding a big Python snake and playing around with it to get used to Python, okay? That's actually a joke. You don't try that. That's very dangerous, okay? You don't play with snakes, alright? So let's quickly move to the installation. I'm actually not going to be covering much on the installation. I'm very sure there are tons of documentations and video out there that have done justice to installation when it comes to Python, alright? But you want to get Python installed in your system, you head straight to python.org/download and get the version that is compatible to your operating system, okay? I'm sure Linux users wouldn't have to worry because Python comes pre-installed with Linux. I don't know why, but that is an added advantage to us, alright? And you can also install your favorite text editor, PyCharm, Atom, VS Code, Vim, and the rest of them, right? Whichever you're comfortable with. But for this series, I will be using the PyCharm, though not strictly PyCharm. I will also be using the default Python IDE. And then if you are a completely newbie, a beginner, and you don't know which text editor to use, and you can just go with the default Python ideally. That's very easy without complex stuff. You can just get your code running in just 1 or 2 lines, alright, without some kind of serious configurations. And I will try as much to use both the PyCharm and the default Python IDE so that we can carry both families along, okay, for those using the PyCharm and for those using the Python ideally. So with that being said, I think we should go to coding straight away. But wait, you can afford to lose the rest of the video coming in this series, so do yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button turn on your notification, and then wait for more amazing videos coming every week on Python programming. Alright, so let's get going. I've got my PyCharm ready, and if yours isn't ready yet, you can pause the video and go get Python and PyCharm installed on your machine. Alright, if you are using the Python default, ideally you don't have to worry about this setup. That one is very much ready and good to go. Okay, so if you are the same page with me, you can actually go straight up and create a new project. Alright, and then we have this window telling us to specify the name of our project. By default it is name untitled, so I will call mine to be a Python series. This is actually a Python series. You can check this to check your project interpreter. I'm actually using the existing interpreter, which is Python 3.8. Now you can actually configure new environment using the virtual env to decide which version of Python you want to use. This is actually a little bit advanced for a complete beginner, so we'll be covering this in subsequent sections, right? But for now we are good with the setup, so we click on create, and then PyCharm will go ahead to create the environment and create everything necessary for us to get coding. So you can quickly come to file and then come to new, and then you get to Python file, and then we are going to call this video 1. This is actually our first video for this series. So the thing to do, I think, is to follow the normal convention, which says your first program should be hello world. That is actually not a law. So not doing that doesn't mean you are sinning, but it will be appropriate if you follow the rules, which means you're actually going to be an obedient programmer in the future, right? So for people who have used C and Java before, you should already be struggling with your int main in C, and then your public class and whatever in Java. But in Python, this stuff are not just enforced. You have your freedom, and you just go ahead and say print, right? And then you say hello world. Oh, and that's all. So what next? We go to run here, and then you come down. You can see your run clearly with a shortcut Alt Shift F10, right? So click on the run. Then it asks you to select which Python file, which by default is video 1. Click, and then our program runs successfully. So here comes our output, hello world. Wow, it means our program has run successfully. Alright, now let me quickly walk you through the interface of PyCharm for those who are seeing it for the first time. This over here is actually the console where our program will be outputting result. Okay, while this over here is where we type our source code, right, our program. Then this is our project setup where we view the files in our project, external libraries, and the rest of them. Okay, this actually will be enough for a start. You can open your terminal window from here, right? Alright, yes, you can open your terminal window. I will just close this. You can also open your Python console, and then this run has our result from the program execution. We also have a shortcut here where you can run your program whenever you make changes. Alright, and don't forget to always click Ctrl S to save new changes before rerunning. So let's quickly print another hello world, because we're actually very happy that our Python code is running very fine. But this time around we're going to be using double quotation, and somebody who is from C or somewhere will be wondering, will this run? Single quotation and double quote, will this actually run? Well, let's actually test this and see whether or not it will work. Alright, wow, it has run. We have two hello worlds down here, which means the two syntax are very much correct. So if you're curious like I am, you should be thinking of something like, what if I use a single quotation in conjunction with a double quote? Wow, PyCharm is already signaling to you that something is wrong. That's why you're having a red line here. and then it says you are missing a closing quote. Alright, so when you start your opening quote with a single quote, then you make sure you use a single quote to close your string, and when you use a double quote, you make sure you close it with a double quote. Right, so let's remove it and then return our single quote and then run it. This time around we should have 3 hello world. Yes, I'll put here. And one good thing again, it says process finish with exit code 0, which means our program runs successfully without any problem. So what if we remove this and then put the double quote and run it with the error? Let's see what happened. Alright, it says we have got a syntax error, EOL, that is end of line while scanning string literal. And then this caret over here is actually telling you exactly where the error is coming from, which is this very place. And then it is also telling you that the error is coming from line 3. Alright, so you can quickly go to line 3 and fix that error. Then you should also note that it says process finish with exit code 1, which means there is a problem in our code. Alright, coming back here, you have some auto suggestion, missing closing quote, and it's even giving you a single quote and other suggestions or some kind of stuff that are actually expected. Alright, so let's quickly fix that and then rerun it again. And then now everything runs smooth and okay. So for this video, we're actually going to be stopping here. Look forward to more amazing videos on Python coming up every week in our channel. So make sure you subscribe and then turn on your notification. Alright, and share with your friends. Alright, you don't want to learn alone, so invite more people, share the link, let them come, let's learn together. It's really going to be fun in this video series. See you in the next video.